Hi everyone, the patient mom here. So today I'd like to take a moment to talk about children with Asperger syndrome. Having a child with Asperger syndrome can be very challenging at times. However, it's also very rewarding. For those of you who do not know what Asperger syndrome is, it is actually on the autism spectrum. It is a very high functioning form of autism that is more of a social disorder. Asperger syndrome can sometimes be a little bit more difficult to diagnose. However, let me give you some experiences that I had when my youngest, before she was diagnosed with Asperger's. So when she was born, she was a normal child, like any other when she was little. As she started to get into her toddler phases, however, is where we started noticing a considerable difference between her and how our older children had acted when they were younger. Challenging, not just for her, but for us as well. So as you can imagine, with her, we had issues with loud noises, especially using sometimes I know this might embarrass my youngest. However, when we would go to a restaurant or to Disney World, this was incredibly interesting when we went to Disney World. It did not matter what bathroom we went to. She would start screaming at the top of her lungs because she did not like the noise of the automatic flushers on the toilets. Oh my goodness, I can't remember dragging her in there, people staring at me, screaming at the top of her lungs, "I don't have to pee! I don't have to pee!" Screaming while she's on the toilet, screaming, "I don't have to pee," while she's peeing. Oh my goodness, some days I just had to laugh. All I could do was laugh. I mean, I really tried not to, but sometimes you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry. So let me tell you, some days all I could do not to cry, because she sometimes would just have such meltdowns. I can remember her going to 3K for the first time. And I promise you, I thought that the teacher probably thought she only had one outfit. And when I tell you that, it's because she had to wear the same outfit every day. And if she couldn't find that outfit, she would have a meltdown. Like, I worked mornings, so I would have to leave her at home with my husband, and he would call me. "I don't know what to do. She is having such a breakdown. I just don't know what to do. You have to help me." So I would say, "Okay, her pants are here, her shirt's here." I swear she wore the same striped shirt and the same gray pair of pants for the first 3 weeks of school. I swear these teachers were like, "What is going on in this house? This child is wearing the same clothes every day." I had to hand wash her clothes every night. So finally I got to where I put a new outfit out for her, and had to tell her that her other clothes was something wrong with them, or they got lost, or I don't remember what I told her, but I finally got her not to wear the same clothes every day. Now, she also wanted to dress herself. So my husband couldn't even help her in the morning. She didn't want him to help at all. I finally learned to have patience, to what we call listen to understand. I had to start listening and asking questions to her to find out, what can I do to make it better for her? What can I do to help her, to help understand what she needs as a child with Asperger syndrome? So I finally started listening to understand. And a lot of times kids will ask you the same question over and over again because you haven't asked the question that they've asked of you, answer the question that they've asked of you. Sometimes it can be as simple as, "Why is the sky blue?" Well, because that's how God made it. Well, sometimes that is not a good enough answer for children, and they need to have a little bit more of an answer. For example, well, the sky is blue because whatever the reason is. Give the scientific reason if you have to, because sometimes that'll stop them from asking that same question over and over again, especially with a child with Asperger syndrome. I learned that if I told her that I was going to do something, or we were going to do something, or we were going to have something specific for dinner, that if I didn't do that, it would just complete utter meltdown. Because I needed to explain to her prior to that what was going to happen. Because Asperger's children are creatures of habit. They don't want change. They don't like change at all. And if you change something, you need to explain that to them. Hey, I'm so sorry, but I was not able to make XYZ for dinner. I had to make this instead. Don't wait till they get home and find out there's something different on their plate. If you guys have ever watched Sheldon Cooper, The Big Bang Theory, you would know what I'm talking about. He had his spot and they ate certain food every night, or he just wasn't happy. Very similar to how somebody with Asperger's is, especially with the child. If you can get them diagnosed really early in life, it is so much easier and it's so much better for them in the long run to have that diagnosis early. It really helps you as a parent. And in fact, I actually went to counseling myself to learn how to communicate, not just with her, but with my husband as well. We'll talk about having a spouse with Asperger's in a different video. But right now, we really want to focus on having a young child with Asperger syndrome and how you can help that child. All I'm going to tell you is, as she got older, things got a little bit easier, and maybe it was the way I chose to speak to her, but I had to teach my entire family as she would have meltdowns, or because my youngest, my middle one would call me, my oldest one would call me, they would all call me at work, and I'm like, I'm at work, y'all are gonna have to start figuring this out, listening to what I tell you and how to communicate with them, with my youngest. It was not hard, you just had to know what to do. And when I tell you, she didn't like to be late to anything. She started playing soccer at a fairly young age, but oh my goodness, if you were going to be late, she would have a meltdown in the car. I don't think we grew out of meltdowns until she hit middle school. And when she hit middle school, she started playing music. And we'll talk about that again later. But when she was younger, if she didn't get to bed at a specific time, if she did not have dinner at a specific time, if she did not wake up at a specific time, it was complete chaos in the house. If I didn't get home when I was supposed to, if we didn't have the right dinners, I'll tell you a story. She started her 3K at school. And first 2 weeks, they had them in assigned seats. Every day, they had assigned seats, assigned seats, assigned seats. Well, on week 3, she walks in and somebody is sitting in her seat. When I tell you, the teacher told me she stood there and screamed bloody murder at the top of her lungs. That's my chair! That's my chair! The teacher had to pull her to the side and explain to her, all right, you look at the chairs. None of them have names on them anymore. We're not doing assigned seats anymore. You can sit wherever you want. I mean, she finally got her to calm down, but it was an ordeal. Now, if that teacher had told them on Friday, hey guys, when you come in on Monday, you can sit anywhere you want. You won't have no more assigned seats. Such and such, you're not going to be here anymore. You can sit wherever you want. On Monday morning, my youngest would have been just perfect. She would have found her seat and she would have sat down and she would have been absolute. So with all of that being said, just understand meltdowns are real. So if you have a child who has utter meltdowns, and I mean like hair-raising meltdowns, you probably want them to get looked at and see if they do have Asperger's, because sometimes loud noises or noises at all when they're trying to take tests at school are a problem. I can remember talking to my youngest, her teacher, and saying, look, she's got Asperger. So sometimes she may need a quiet area to take her test, or such and such is making, she comes home and she's like, they keep making all these noises. I have a hard time concentrating. So I would take that and go to the teachers and try to get them to work with her. A child with Asperger syndrome is a wonderful, wonderful child, man. They love unconditionally, and they are wonderful to have. So with that being said, there are a few things that I believe will definitely help a child with Asperger syndrome. The first thing is they need stability and consistency. If you're going to do something, do it. Don't change something you said you're going to do without that communication. Remember, if you tell your child, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're not going to do, I'm going to make this for dinner. This is what we're going to wear tomorrow. If that changes, have that communication with them. I know it seems crazy that I'm the parent, I have to explain myself. No, it's because of their disorder you have to explain themselves. It has nothing to do with you being the parent and them being the child. As a parent, you need to understand your child's needs. As a parent with a child with Asperger syndrome, it has nothing to do, believe me, I had the same argument with my husband. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're the parent. It has everything to do with the fact that they are a child with Asperger syndrome and their needs are different than a child who does not have Asperger syndrome. Again, number 3, if your child wants to do the same thing every day, wants to eat the same thing every day, wants to wear the same thing to school every day, that's okay. And sometimes we have to respect that. They need that sometimes, just that stability. They need to know that this is going to be there. It's something that they can hold on to. That's real to them. That they know, hey, I know at 9:30, I can tell you, my youngest, it used to be 8:30 or 9 o'clock. All right, Mom, it's 9 o'clock. It's time for me to go to bed. She would tell me, Mom, it's this time. It's time for bed. And my God, if I was not home at that time, I would pay. It was hell to pay for me, because she didn't understand that, hey, we weren't going to make it home on time. If I told her early enough, hey, honey, I don't think we're going to make it home on time. You may have to go to bed just a little bit later than 9:30 tonight, or 8 o'clock, whatever that time was, then she could live with that. But man, if I didn't communicate, it was hell to pay for me and everybody else in the car. I promise you. Sometimes the texture can bother a child. So if it's a food they don't like, and they tell you that they don't like it, they may not be able to tell you why. It could very well be a texture thing. I can tell you that my youngest, when she was younger, there was food she didn't eat because of the texture. I can tell you there's foods I don't eat because of the texture. But a lot of times it's texture for a child who have Asperger's. Something that they don't like the feel of. They don't like the sound of. They don't like the taste of. Not necessarily the taste, but the texture of it in their mouth when they're eating it. So try to take those things into consideration when you're really trying to understand why your child doesn't like something. It's very important. Also, I'm going to add this little tidbit. If you tell your child they need to be somewhere at a certain time, don't make them late. I can tell you from experience that you do not want to make them late. Ever. Because that will definitely be a nightmare for you and for everybody else around you. I promise you that. Oh my goodness, I promise you that. Just remember, Asperger syndrome is not just hard on you, it's also hard on the child who has Asperger syndrome, because they don't understand why certain things are the way they are. We as parents should take that time to help them understand, and don't wait until they're in a complete meltdown, because they won't understand and they won't stop the meltdown. You have to calmly really talk to them and get them to understand, hey, I'm here to help you. What can I do to help you? And take those steps to help them, whether it's reading books or seeing a therapist to help you communicate. They're there for that. You go home and you say, look, my child said this, and this is what my reply was. And they can help you. Well, maybe they really meant this, and maybe to calm them down, they can help you. You can say this to help them. So just remember, we're the parents. We're the ones here to help our children. We're not here to make their life harder. Thank you for watching my video. I really hope you learned something from it today. And if you have any other questions, just let me know, and I'm sure I can help. I can answer any questions you have. I may not have touched on everything during this video. I will have several more about Asperger's in children as they grow up. I think it's very important that we find things that children like in life that can help soothe them. They say music soothes the savage beast. I will say that at about 6th grade, my child started to play music, and she just absolutely loved it. And it really calmed her down from being as crazy about noises and stuff. I mean, it really, really helped her with her Asperger syndrome. It calmed her down. She played music and flourished. Every child is wonderful with whatever it is, but I will tell you, having a child with Asperger's is an unconditional love you will not find anywhere else. Again, thank you for watching my video. I hope you loved it, and if you did, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought, what you liked. And remember, keep your chin up, smile, and always believe in yourself. Until next time, the Patient Mom.